Seminary doesn't exist outside of real life, but the way you engage in seminary actually is the way you're being formed to engage in the rest of your life. In chapter 1, then, this is the Know Your Value of Values. This is the mission statement chapter. His basic point is that there needs to be a controlling or a driving principle that animates our seminary years, that tells us if we're being successful in these years or not. It helps us kind of know what we should do, the way we know what we should do in an institution or as a student or as a family. He talks about families having these as well, is to measure our options against our mission statement, right? What we're about. Is this advancing me toward what I'm about? And he says what we're all meant to be about is God's glory, the display of the fullness and the truth about who God is. How is it that our student years can do that, can actually help serve in a way that God is seen for who God is? Because remember, this isn't on hold until you graduate and then your ministry is about making God known for who he is. This is about now so that it's about then, right? So we're going to keep that link together. How, as a student in seminary, how can you student, to make it a verb, such that God is seen for who he is? What would be some implications of that?
When I'm in seminary, one of my struggles so far has been the intellectual piece of, oh, well, I know more, so I must be being changed since I know all of this stuff. Okay. But my actions outside don't always show it. And I know I'm a sinner. I know I am broken. I'm not looking for perfection, but I'm looking to show a world that there's a God who actually does exist, who can do this change that we're all in here learning about.
So the degree to which we don't allow that transformation, to that degree we lie through our lives about what God is like.
Yeah.
Claiming his name, and yet not reflecting his character.
Yeah, because just the very word of God, it demands change in our life. You can't study God and know him deeply and not be changed by him. It should just happen within your life and happen naturally. And if it's not, that's what causes me to go, how much of this is just intellectual in my life that I'm not actually letting the Lord do a work within me? Where am I just storing up knowledge to just shove in someone's face or try to prove to someone that I know and you don't?
I think similarly to what Ryan was saying, and thinking about the transformation being essential and for God's glory, I'm definitely tempted to measure my success by my grades. And in a way, that's actually focusing on my glory rather than God's glory. If I'm caring more about my achievement rather than who God is trying to change me into to be able to serve him and his people and display him. It's convicting to read that and think, oh, it's not just like I care a little bit too much about my grades, but actually I want glory for myself rather than God.
Thank you. You are not alone in that temptation. Good.
I think it is actual relationship that is what we have to remember. And what I mean by that is it's not just about the books and studying and the papers and the grades. Only prayer can transform information into intimacy. And so when I'm looking at my time in seminary, am I still making time for prayer? Am I making time for the relationships, the first relationships that he has given me, authority to steward and watch over? Is that going by the wayside because I've got Bobbing to read tonight and it's going to take me 5 hours to read one chapter? No, I still have to be a wife. I still have to take care of my household. Those things don't get to be put, on the back burner because I've got studying to do. And so I think when we kind of wrestle that with the fact that we cannot do it all on our own, that's when I feel like we can actually build that relationship between understanding the words and understanding the love and being able to implement it through our lives. So we're not just walking around with brains on a stick, like we actually have hearts and we're pouring into the different things that God has already given us.
How often do we find that knowledge puffs up, where my theology degree results in a lack of patience, or a lack of love toward those who disagree or aren't where I'm at, or I'm now trying to teach and they aren't as quick on the uptake as I thought I was or something, and so it's a good challenge to remember that our our goal coming out of seminary ought to be maturity in the fruit of the Spirit, because we've spent these years fellowshipping with the God whose character is known there in that list in Galatians 5. Know your value of values. You're going to stay a Christian in seminary. You got to be pegged to this North Star as you go through.